introduce you to some of our new staff and some of our senior staff that you may not know, so everyone gets acquainted with them. Honestly, because I have not met all of the new staff yet, so it'll be good for me too. Um, okay, I'm just going to go blah, 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 blah for a minute. Are you having trouble with the Zoom? Are you having trouble getting the audio over to the Zoom? Muffled on Zoom. So I'm sorry, Zoom folks. We'll try to get that fixed. But as I said, I'll introduce some staff. And then I'm going to talk about a few things that we just update on because everyone knows. And then I'm going to talk about the thing that I think brought most of you here tonight. What the heck is happening?
So just to be clear, do a little level set. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be here. We've got a plan. We've got some challenges right now, but Silver Bay's been here for 120 years. There's plenty of challenges, not new territory for us, but we do have a plan, and you're all a part of it. So we really want to share that with you. We'll get to that. After we do that, we will take questions and answers, hopefully good answers, and I'm sure there'll be good questions. All the ones that came in ahead of time that are written down, I will do those first, and then we will take them between the audience. We have a microphone that people can use, and we'll take them from the folks online. So the folks, I think we have about 100 people on Zoom. This is like our biggest town hall ever. I know it's not me that drew you here, but thanks for coming. What we will do on the questions, though, is if you're on Zoom, you will be muted. So we ask you to type them into the chat. We'll go back and forth between the Zoom and the audience, back and forth. Okay. And I will do my best to answer it, or the staff that is here can answer it better than I. So first, let me start. Again, glad you're all here. Let me start with some staff first. We have some senior staff is here. Some senior staff is online. Unfortunately, the folks in the audience here cannot see the folks that are online, but I assure you that they are there. So I'll give you their name and they'll be waving, but you won't see them, but trust me, they're actually there. First is Lucas Callahan. You may not know him, but he's our VP of Guest Experience. He's been here for about a year. So he is over front desk, housekeeping, the store, and food services. So he has a lot of his plate. And he comes to us from Blue Water Manor. He's doing a bang up wonderful job. Really thankful to have him. Lindsay Butler, who is here. Lindsay is our VP of Sales and Marketing and has just done an amazing job. We have so much new business coming through, so many people who are experiencing Silver Bay for the first time. It's really thanks to Lindsay and her crew that that's happening. Uriah Rodriguez. Uriah, are you here? Thought I saw you earlier. Uriah is our VP of Programs. Again, doing a wonderful job. He is over Silver Camp, all the beaches, all the programs, all the things you see happening here. And he's great. He comes to us. He's been here just a year, and he comes to us from Jane. There's a seat up here by your husband, if you'd like. Your husband held you a seat in the front row.
Aww. I'm obsessed with that.
Uriah comes to us from Springfield with past experience, and we'll talk a little about childcare in a bit. Uriah's a big part of it. Walt Lender, I think Walt is online with us. Yep. Walt is our VP of Development and Government Relations. You may recognize the name. He was the executive director of LGA for about 15 years before we were able to snatch him away. Really thankful to have him. He's doing an amazing job, not only with our donors, but also on our community relations and really helping Silver Bay become a bigger part of our communities and helping people feel welcome here that maybe have not welcome before. And lastly, Lena Horgan, I'm sure you all know her. She's been here for 20 years. Lena cannot be here tonight, but she is our VP of Support Services and our CE. Now I'd like to do some of our new staff. Some are here, some are online. I'm going to read off your name. Stand up if you're here, please. Chris Carpernal is our new Director of Spiritual Life. Chris, I think you're here. Barry Wilson, he is our new wastewater treatment plant lead operator. Barry in the back. Eric Geisel cannot be here tonight, but he's a new maintenance tech for us. CJ, I think you're here. CJ Ward. He's our new store manager, doing an amazing job over there with both the food side and the retail side. Hyla K. Casabona. I'm not sure if you're able to be here or not. Hyla, are you here? I'm sorry. She is working, but she's our new
Tori Lobdell. Are you here, Tori? There's Tori. Tori's our new reservationist. Madeline Drexel, I think I saw you come in. There's Madeline. Madeline is our new artist in residence at the Squire Art Studio. We're very excited about that. We have a year-round artist here working with us, and not just doing arts and crafts, but really doing art and really getting engaged with the community. We're really thankful she's here. Nate Swinton, are you here? There's Nate.
Nate, thank you, Nate.
Nate.
Nate is a new maintenance tech, but also is with the volunteer fire department in Hague, which comes in really handy for us. We're really thankful that he is here with us. Samantha Ledger, are you here? Samantha? Samantha is one of our new front desk associates. And last but not least, Alper Kook. I don't think you were here, Kook. I don't think you were here. Alper, you may see in the dining room. He is over there working tonight. And Alper is our new dining services and bank. We're really excited to have all this new staff here, and it brings a new life to Silver Bay and a new attitude. And these are really amazing people that have fallen in love with Silver Bay. I'll tell a little quick story on Lucas Callahan. Lucas has been with us for a year, and he has some young children, and his 5-year-old son has been going to Silver Camp. And after the 3 days of Silver Camp, Lucas came to me and goes, "Now I know why everyone just really falls in love with Silver Bay. My kid is just head over heels. He's been taking tennis lessons. He doesn't want to go back to childcare. He just wants to go back to tennis." So it grows on all of us. I want to take just a personal moment to thank everyone here, people online, and some folks who aren't here. For those of you who may not know, I was diagnosed with colon cancer last November. Came as quite a surprise to all of us. November 27th, I completed my 6-month of chemo treatment. I will have a CT scan on July 17th to see if the cancer is still there. Schedule surgery to remove my port, which I can't wait for that to be done. And then every 3 months, I will have blood tests and CT scans for the next 5 years in the hopes that we'll not have that. But what I want to say is thank you. The support has really been amazing. The emails, the texts, the cards, the specialty food sent, the folks who, there's a group of folks here who every Tuesday delivered meals to Gina. Sorry. Because Tuesday was treatment days or follow-up days. And that was a trip down to Glens Falls and several hours down there and a trip back. It was always a hot meal waiting for us when we got home. And most of all, the prayers. The prayer and support has just been overwhelming. And I am not normally this resilient or this positive. Ask Gene. I'm the guy with the glass half empty of the bed for 6 months. This is not normal in me. But all the prayers have made a huge difference. And I am so incredibly grateful and just humbled by the support. And I just want to say thank you, Bob. So thank you. Apologies. Chemo makes one emotional, sorry. So I'm going to go through just a few updates on things, and then we'll get into the meat of while we're here, and then we'll take your questions. So first, advanced registration, and a couple of things I'm going to cover now. I don't think, and I will own that we did not promote and communicate all effectively, and I apologize for that. We will get better at that. So in advanced registration, we have had for years on a particular day in January, first come, first serve, you could reserve stuff in the next years, mostly cottages. We made a change this year that confused some folks. I apologize for that. I just want to explain it. We made a change this year that it's actually, you can do it for a whole week, and then it goes into a random lottery. So it's more fair. Just not the first person who could figure out how to get on the computer at 8 o'clock in the morning to send an email, and I can't figure this out. So that was very fair. So during that week, you can turn in your request for your dates and the time of the place you want. If we have more than one person requesting it, it goes into a lottery. And if you put everyone else in a waiting list, or offer them a different application. What we didn't explain to people was that this has been going on for years. We just changed the process. We confused people because they thought if they had to reserve something, they'd reserve it 2 years out, which you don't have to do. You can still call up whenever you want, and if there's something available, we're happy to come. This is just a way for people, especially large families, who want a particular space, we'll have that open in January next year. Next thing is wristbands and name tags. I know this has been really a sore subject for a lot of people, so I want to explain what we have done and why we have done it. So we have gone from the big things around the neck with the big name badge on it to wristbands, and we are changing out those wristbands. We tried ones that were eco-friendly, but they're really a pain to wear. So we're going to change it back to a more simple wristband that will stay on your wrist. And starting, we hope next week, name tags will be available when you check in here. So you'll still be able to have a name tag. And if you're like me, you see people who see you. There's a little breakdown in communication there. I will own that. We intended for those to be available. It didn't get communicated properly. We're being in the materials, and we hope for the next week when you check in, you will have it. If you're like me, I need to read it because I don't remember who you are. In case I forget your name, I'll call you anything and get it. So we will bring back the name tags. Let me explain why we changed from the name here to wristbands. In a situation last year where a family rented a cottage, all rented it. It's great. And then their brother took a name badge and a lanyard from several years prior and invited himself on campus. Now it's a kind of a problem because I wasn't paying to be here. The large issue was he was actually ready to get a bottom. He had abused 2 9-year-old boys and served time in jail. And his family stuck him on campus because they didn't get them. Well, that was a big eye opener for us that someone could take a lanyard to come here for less than best purposes. So as inconvenient as the biggest a change it is, we're doing it for the safety of it. I'm not going to risk any child or anything here. Someone who will not come here to take part in this day. So I know it's been a change and we should have communicated this better. And I apologize if we didn't. That's why we made the change. It's really for everyone to see. The next one I'm going to talk about is the camp change. So a couple of things. We do the younger children, 5 and under, not in kindergarten yet. It is a drop-in program. We did that on purpose so that we had some complaints last year from families who showed up and did not know we had a camp, but they hadn't registered in advance. So this way, parents can do it when they get here. We just have to have the immunization. For the children 5 and up or in kindergarten and up, we did change from a half day to a full day. And let me explain why we did that. And we did not communicate this well. Again, I apologize for that. The primary reason is because we were losing $100,000 a year in silver camp. And candidly, we can't afford to do that. And a big loss for us was on the half-day camp. We had to have half-day people here, and then we didn't have work for them the rest of the day. We're not structured that way. There's someone work half-day here and half-day. So we were spending a lot on salary and people that were doing some work, but really it was overstaffed. We also felt that we could offer a higher quality program for folks. It doesn't mean that you can't pick up your child early and pick them up after lunch. We know it's a little more expensive. We should have communicated that better. We're experimenting with them. It may or may not work. We may go back and look at it again. And we may involve somebody with some conversations to figure it out. But again, the intent was to serve parents and families better and also to help serve Silver Bay better. So that was the intent. I also want to tell you, I should have mentioned this earlier, this is being recorded. So those of you online or anyone here, you want to go back and watch this again and check on what I said, it's all being recorded. We'll be recording it in every month. The next one I want to mention is auditorium sound system. When you go in there, you may note that you can hear better off the stage. What we did was we were able to identify some restricted funds so we could use, and we have upgraded the sound system in order to leave. So I think it's, I think you may like it. And we did that to a large part because we're bringing more groups in, more events like the symphony, the evening of dance, bluegrass in heaven. We want to have a quality sound system. Food service, some changes there as well. The Mountain View Grill is a pop-up restaurant that we've been doing. It's been received very well. We're doing this in part to help serve Silver Bay. There are no restaurants up in Hague anymore that are open. This is a way for people to get a restaurant type meal and also come on campus and see us, feel more comfortable here. We'll continue that through next year. We'll try to have a regular schedule for that. We're also doing Bites in the Bay, which some of you may be familiar with. This is a way that people can order through a text if they're in a boat. We have a menu for them, then we text them when it's ready, they come pick it up at the dock. It's been really helpful, but there's not any other place in the northern part of the lake you can do that. So that's been helpful. And again, it's getting more people to see Silver Bay and see us as something, hey, let's come here. And then also with the store, CJ's making a lot of great improvements over in the store. We're ramping up our menu. We have a cappuccino machine, and you can buy some really good. But again, we're trying to accommodate our guests, and I'll get a little bit later. We talk about some other marketing studies we did. Childcare up in Hague, if you're not familiar, the Thai Alliance has spearheaded an effort to have an early learning center in Ticonderoga. We were lucky enough that we won the bid to be the operators of that. So we will be operating a new childcare center, early learning center for infants through pre-K up in Ticonderoga. We're very excited about that. Jackie Polidrani, who many of you know, who has been over Silver Camp, has been here for 20 years. She is the new director up there. She'll be doing her duties at Ticonderoga. But we're very excited about this and very thankful that we get a chance to serve our community this way. And we're looking to open end of August, beginning of September. We're still in the hiring phase. So if any of you have folks that you know in your family who would like to be a lead teacher or be a teacher up in Ticonderoga with nice benefits and work for Silver Bay, high ropes course. I'll talk about this a little bit. We talk about some of our pieces, but again, we were able to identify some restricted funds that we've put a high ropes course in. It's over by the council ring. It's been very well received. That we can't staff it as much as people want to use it. So it really is attracting people in. It's been a great addition to our services. You may see more over the next couple of years, you may see some fields that aren't being mowed, and you may see some wildflowers popping up places. We're doing what's called raise the blade. So we're cutting all our grass at 3 inches or higher. And a couple places we will do some pathways through, like the field to the north of the chapel and west of Maple. We'll let that grow up. We'll do some pathways up to some of the cottages. But the idea of this is several. One is it helps with our bee population, our pollinator population, which is an important part. Two, it's great for the grounds and it absorbs more rainwater and more stuff coming off the mountains, lake. And three, it saves us on gas and we're not putting as much pollutants out to the air. And it really saves us a little bit on labor if we're not moving the grass or something. So you'll see those changes. We're not derelict, we're not ignoring it, not taking care of stuff, it's deliberate. Great announcement. I know a lot of you were around when Heritage Hall was built, which is in the back part of Golan. And when Boyd was built, Heritage Hall was disassembled, which is unfortunate. So thanks to a couple of generous donors, we are reinvigorating Heritage Hall. There'll be a grand opening of it sometime this month. I'm not going to go into all the detail, but just know it's going to be in Golan. It's going to be an interactive display that will talk about our past, present, and future. It's a way to honor and bring our history back. So we're really excited about that piece. Also, we've expanded vacations made possible now. So when you are registering for a room, there's a link you can go to see if you qualify for a discount. And we're providing anywhere from free to a 10% discount for families based upon their size and income. They just click on some stuff. We're not asking to prove anything. We're trusting folks. This is a way to help get people who may not be always to afford here to be here. Also want to mention that we've expanded, we have a new respite piece called for first responders. So I think you all know we do cancer, military R&R, spiritual life, adoptive families. Well, now I've also added first responders because post-COVID, a lot of people in first responders are suffering and having some serious issues with trauma. And so this is a way that we can offer respite for them in a place where they can come and relax and feel safe. I also want to mention that we have started working with a third-party vendor, Expedia. We have done $50,000 in business of that since the first of the year. And that's also really helping bring in new people to Silver. That's from these folks. And people are saying, I can't wait to bring my family back. I'm coming back. I never displayed this here. Because if you don't, we market. If you really don't know us, it's sometimes hard to find us. So this is a way for new people to find us. It's working out really well. I also want to mention We're doing a culture audit of our staff. So it's a way we're investing in our year-round staff. We're having someone come in to assess where we think the culture is and where we want the culture to be. And we have another person coming in to work with us and help us move towards that culture. So our staff feels supported and involved and engaged, and that they understand we care about them, and that they understand that they're a part of who we are and how we go forward. Last thing I want to mention before we get into the main event is some of the capital projects you'll see going on here. And pardon me, some of these have not happened yet. This will probably come as a shock. We're having trouble finding some outside support help, like contractors to do some work. I'm sure those of you who own property around here understand our pain. So some of these may not happen right away. We're working on all of them. Woodside, which was staff housing, is going to be updated. It'll go back in the inventory as being guest housing. The water treatment plant, we had a computer and a new panel. Wastewater treatment plant, we had a new aerator. The inn is getting a new hot water boiler. So if I'll just stay in the inn, you won't have trouble with hot water. I mean, I think it's older than the building. Over near the council ring, we're going to add some camping platforms so people can back here and camp, another affordable option for folks. We'll have a space for pop-up tents. We will not be able to do RVs with electric and sewer hookup, but people can come and camp, and will, I think, also be affordable for more folks. Morse, we found out the hard way that Morse, this building in Watson, are not on our sewer line. They're on what are they called? Septic system. Thank you. Chemo does wipe out part of your brain temporarily, so I'm a little trouble with words. Sorry. They're on the septic system, and the septic systems have failed. So if we don't fix them, the commission will make us fix them in an empty place. So we're trying to find a contractor so we can hook up these two buildings to the sewer line, which runs right out here. Why it was done. So it should be working better for folks, which is important to folks. We've had a new systems firewall. We will be painting Hilltop, Hillcrest, and Spangler. Trying to find a painter. We have one quote now, but it's 3 times higher than we think it should be. So we're trying to find a couple other quotes for painters. We're going to add some new lighting in the main parking lot. We already added some beach sand. We've already done some tree removal where trees could be in danger of falling up. So those are some of the capital projects. I just want to mention one thing. We do appreciate folks who want to help us with stuff and do volunteer pieces here. We just ask if you want to do something that is like adding something here, like you want to paint something, you want to add pictures, you want to put something in the garden, just check with somebody first, because we do have restrictions on where some things can go. We don't want to make you or someone else remove it. We just ask that you check with someone on staff first. So what I want to get into now is the big main event. So first of all, Silver Bay is not going anywhere, right? I'm going to talk about historically where we have been and a little bit about what we're doing. So we are endeavoring to make data-driven decisions and to gather data before we make decisions on what we're doing. And we involve a number of people in the decision-making project. Historically, this organization has had a gap between the money it brings in operations and what it costs to run operations. And that gap has been made up traditionally out of restricted funds. We don't have those funds to draw from. They're just not available. So we have to close that gap. And that's exactly what we're doing. We know that back in 2017, we had 12,000 guests a year. 2022, we had 7,000 guests a year with the same amount of staff. We have room for growth. We're at 30% occupancy average year round. We have plenty of room for growth. So what we did was we brought in a company called Grow, G-R-O. We engaged in a marketing study to tell us what people wanted, what we had, and what we needed, and who we should be marketing to. We worked with them to evaluate our buildings and what we needed to work on, when, what, and in what stages, based entirely upon the return on that investment. So if we invest in a building, what will that do predictably to the occupancy and the revenue that we can garner coming from that? And then also it impacted and influenced our marketing campaign, which is what is driving some more business in. We have taken those recommendations, and I want to emphasize that these are all mission driven. The heads and beds here are not an end to themselves, it's a means to an end. The means to an end is so we can serve people. Lives are transformed here. I don't know, along with respite, I don't know if many of you know that we also provide emergency housing for people in Hague and Ticonderoga. We do that very quietly because we don't want to make a big deal for these families need help, but we do enough, many people every year. And the money we generate off of our inn and all is what pays for us to be allowed to have people stay here for months at a time at no cost. Same with all the respite pieces we offer. Same with being able to offer the drop-in program for teens up at Ticonderoga. That loses $100,000 a year. But we try to pay for that out of the money that comes in the revenue we bring. So that's why we do these things. This is all about our mission, people getting to know Silver Bay and their lives being transformed by what you all do. That's why it's all of us together figuring this out. Right now, there are 2 task forces working on this. So there's a group that is made up, both groups are made up of board members, volunteers from the community that know about Silver Bay, and experts in the field and staff members. One group is looking at the GROW recommendations for what we should do and how we should work on it. And that is in process and will go before the board. I'm happy to get into more detail, but I'm trying to keep this high level to not bore you all with lots of details, but happy to go further if you want. And then another group is looking at a 5-year plan for us. So last year, we had a $2 million loss, which we borrowed $2 million for, which will cost us $1.3 million to pay back. So $3.3 million bid. This year, we projected $1 million loss, so we cut the loss in half by aggressiveness and by increasing business and looking at how we could control our costs. We will be okay this year because we were able to bring in over $1 million in some unexpected funds at one time. Service that we were able to participate in. Going forward, though, we have to have a break even or better. This is a group working with staff on what does that look like and what do we do so that starting in 2025 and going forward, we hit a break even and we start increasing revenue without compromising the services or staffing or any of the great things. So both those things are underway. I just want to assure you that there is a plan, there is a strategy. We're not shooting in the dark. It is based upon data. And I am totally confident that it's going to turn this place around. I see some changes, and I know change is hard, but the changes we're making are to help Silver Bay move forward, not to take anything away from what we have. And I know that's sometimes difficult, especially people, again, back to your hat, John, who love Silver Bay. And that we totally respect that. We just ask you to work with us and help us as we move forward in order that Silver Bay can be for another 120 years. So what I'm going to do now is read through the questions that came in advance, and then we'll start questions between Zoom and the audience. Is that okay with everyone? So I have 3 questions here from Sue Booth, so I'm going to read them individually, but the first 3 questions from Sue Booth. How does the occupancy rate or number of people staying on campus this summer compare to previous years? And I just covered that. We're averaging 30%. We had 12,000 guests in 2017. We had 7,000 in 2022. We're starting to grow back. So it is coming back. We're projected to have more guests this year than last year. We won't hit the 12,000 mark, but we're growing that. A lot of that, this is due to Lindsay and her team. Weddings, family reunions, small conferences are working out really well for us. That's where we're putting a lot of our energy. That is growing a lot of shoulder season business and midweek business that's really helping us. Is Silver Bay using services of professional communications and marketing company? If so, what do they help with? Just marketing ads, Silver Bay web content, social media posts, the briefs. So we do not have an outside company. I have incredibly talented staff here. And then other people from the community that are part of the Silver Bay community who have a marketing background also work. I mean, you have a committee that meets, I think, at every month or every other month?
Every month.
Every month-ish. People who have experts in marketing who talk with Lindsay and work through what our plan is. Based upon the study we did, we learned that there are 500,000 households in a 2-hour driving radius who want what we have. They want outdoor experiences that are thrilling, but then they want to go to a comfortable bed. They want nice meals and they want Wi-Fi. So that's why we invested in the high ropes course and the Wi-Fi and this, all those pieces. 10% of those people are the only people who know about us. We had 90% of those people we could reach. And that's where the big focus of our market is in the 2-hour private meetings. That's why we went to Expedia to see those people. The last question from Sue is, what audiences and groups are being targeted with marketing to increase visitation? Are there any data on how successful the marketing strategy has been over the past 3 years post 2020? That's what I just explained. We're focusing on young families. That doesn't mean we don't focus on the folks, but that's a primary focus because that's where our new donors will come from, where new support will come from. So that has been a big focus. Also, the respite programs are a focus, and we work with that as well. We are seeing more people come in. We're seeing revenues increase. We're seeing new people that are experiencing Silver Bay for the first time. Karen Hoschel is asking, have we made any progress in installing EV charging station? I have asked about this for several years and have always gotten the same response. We're researching it. There is a demand and it is needed. You are correct. We're not researching it. We're waiting for more funds. We have a donor that's come forward and been very generous, but a charging station is very expensive to put in. We're trying, the grants from the state have dried up. We're trying to see if we can find some other grants that would help pay for it on our other donors that would step forward. So we know we want to do it. We want to put some charging stations. We want to do their like covered charging stations up in the parking lot where the solar panel on the top would help charge electricity, as well as tied into electric grid. If not, this is not inexpensive to do, but we don't have the funding yet. Carol, we know what we want to do. We're just waiting on some money to do. This is from Terry Baker. I understand the dramatic changes in our business space and the way in which COVID disconnected us from so many customers. I understand how we need to develop a new business model that meets the mission and budget. In fact, I'm working hard to build a sustainable chunk of business and become part of Silver Bay's future with Bluegrass in Heaven. What I don't understand is the strategy. Is there an articulated strategy that we are pursuing that will meet the mission and the budget? What is it? I can get behind it if I know what it is. So Terry, I just gave you the high notes of it. If you want more detail, please feel free to ask a question when that's open. But I mean, it is essentially, we are focused on what people want to have here and experiences that they can enjoy, bringing new people to Silver Bay, focusing on the weddings, the family reunions, and the small conferences. That is helping us build more business that way. This question is from, hold my fingers to turn the page, from Joan Traber. I'm sorry, I've been asked to speak a little slower.
It's the
Not
people
the first time
online.
it has been requested
It's
of
the
me.
people online.
So I'm sorry, people, I'm happy to do
You're
that.
good.
I get excited. Silver Bay is to be commended for its specialty dinners, both dock pickup meals and lobster mess. The quality of the food is quite wonderful at those events. Does that mean the quality of the food in the cafeteria will improve? Overly seasoned Caribbean chicken and similar overly seasoned preparations leave much to be desired. If you're there for a week, the food can be monotonous. Are there any differences in the dining hall selections expected this year? So the short answer is yes. We have an amazing executive chef, Tony, which is why we're able to do these specialty pieces. We have hired a lot of new staff in the kitchen this year. I still have a couple of openings there. I will say, no excuses. It is difficult to season everyone's taste. For those who think it's over, other people think it's under. Too much pepper, not enough pepper. Too much seasoning, not enough seasoning. Too much salsa, where's the salsa? So it is challenging. We are in a 2-week rotation, but we are looking. I mean, I think you'll see some changes where we're trying to bring in some new things and new ideas. We are working with staff to train them to get better. It is not easy to produce several hundred meals that all taste the same whole, but we know there's room for improvement. Then Greg Baker asks, as a lifelong member of Silver Bay, I understand that developing a vision for the future is complex. There are many of us who want to support the way forward, whatever that may be, but at this juncture, the vision has not been communicated clearly enough for us to get behind the line behind leadership. I would like to understand the strategic vision for the future and how the organization plans to harness the community's energy in all its forms, including financial support, in-kind donations, and a robust volunteer program that leverages people's unique skills and talents. Please consider spending a substantial amount of time on the subject this evening, as I know I represent many voices. So I think I've covered some of it. On the volunteer side, we have a good volunteer program, I believe. Sarah has, do I hear a no? I'm sorry. Could someone said no? Well, okay, and what, if you didn't hear it, and I'm sorry, I don't remember your name, I apologize. Is saying that it doesn't, we have a volunteer program that doesn't take advantage of people's talents. So we have a new online registration system where you can put in what your talents are and where you would like to be. As those needs come up, we're doing our best to kind of coordinate people to those places. If there's some place you want to volunteer and we're not aware of it, or we haven't connected you, please feel free to step forward and say, this is where I would like to volunteer, and we'll see if we can accommodate you. I'm not saying we can't get better with it. I think we have done a better job of trying to coordinate the folks. We have about 80 folks right now that are in volunteer program. I think part of the challenge is some newer staff don't know they can rely upon volunteers, so that's still part of our training. Onboarding that people understand that we have lifelong volunteers who want to be engaged and how we communicate that. As far as financial support, yes, we accept in-kind donations and we're happy to have those. Since it's coming up here in the question, I will mention that our financial support in up to 2022 was under 10% of our total expenses. It's now running about 10%. A nonprofit organization of this size and of this type, it should be about 15 to 25%. So that's something Walt is working on to help develop new donors and help us increase the donor piece. Part of our plan going forward, we do not believe that we can, in order to provide the level of services we provide, the detail we do, we don't, and to keep the price points where people can still afford to be here, we don't believe we can generate enough revenue off what we do to cover all of our costs. That's where charitable giving becomes a big part of sustaining civil liberties. And if for all of you that I'm doing these, if I don't answer them to your satisfaction, please feel free to hop on. Lauren Brubaker, what is Silver Bay doing to improve communication and responsiveness regarding reservations? So we did have a lag. We lost 2 reservationists. We now have hired 2 reservationists. One of them's here tonight. They have been in training for a bit, and we are clearing up a backlog. We're also working to make reservations online easier, so you don't have to call in. So we're working with a company that we work with for the website to improve the ability to get rooms online. So now I think we'll start with a question from our Zoom folks, then we'll take a question from the audience.
All right, can you on Zoom here? Can someone give me a thumbs up if you can hear? Okay, great. So the first question came from David, and he asked, what is the new attitude the new staff have brought to Silver Bay?
What is the new attitude they have brought? It's a great question. Maybe the new staff should answer that rather than me. What I see, so, through my chemo treatments, although I've been working some, I have not been around people, and I've been out of pocket a bit. My observation is there just seems to be a renewed energy. There seems to be a really positive attitude, a positive spirit, a willingness to serve. We deliberately tried to hire people that have what has been coined in the industry a high IP, which is like a people quotient. We want people to get more excited about serving others than about being served. And I think that's the caliber of people we have hired. We just see an enthusiasm to want to serve, to help people. We'll take one from the audience.
Oh, okay. Hold on. You have to use the microphone. Raise your hand if you have a question.
We have no takers. All right, we'll go back to online. Oh, wait, we have one. We have a hand.
Okay.
And please say your name.
Hi, I'm Wendy Solomon.
Hi, Wendy. How are you?
Can you elaborate a little more on the changes? You mentioned they're coming in the next 5 years. Do you have some in mind that we can hear about now?
Sure. So it's a great question, Wendy. If you didn't hear the question, Wendy's asking what are the changes in the next 5 years? So first, no real fundamental changes to who we are and what we do. It's really about how can we refurbish our buildings to meet what people are asking for. For example, not having air conditioning in the inn is a real challenge for us. when everyone else around here has it, and it's getting hotter every year if you haven't noticed. So that's an issue. How do we renovate the inn, keep it historically accurate, have the electricity so that you can plug in 2 hair dryers at once and not blow out the entire building, and so we can have air conditioning in every room. Right, and that's a piece of it. So we're looking at our buildings grow, look at specifically Bayview, and there are issues we have with Bayview as new as the building is. The inn, and I'm sorry, I meant Boyd. We looked at Boyd and Bayview and the inn. Those 3 buildings and made specific recommendations what we should do with those. So that's part of it. And that's what the board and this committee is working on. The board will work on if that's the direction that they want to head in, to get those buildings up to snuff where people would want to use them, and we could use them more year round. The other changes really have to do more with what we're offering from a program perspective. So it's not taking anything away, it's really what do we add. So example, having an artist in residence year round, we can offer more pieces for people year round. We can offer more things that people can get engaged in, and more groups that want to be here. It's a lot of outreach to groups that have not come here before, new people coming, new family reunions, getting new people to experience Silver Bay. So it's really not any of the fundamental changes in the core of who we are and our mission to serve others. It's really more about getting, I think, 2 things: getting our buildings to the point where people will want to use them more, and taking care of what we want to take care of Sunnyside and Heparin and the Stonehouse and Payne, and the Goop, and not have abandoned buildings on campus. I mean, it all takes money, right? So that's a part of the issue. But also we just want this place to be vibrant, engaging, and energizing. And all of you who had amazing experiences here going back to even your youth, we want that for other people. So that's the main part. Online?
We have many online. Marion asked, will Overlook be available for guests in 2025 and 2026? Seems a shame to see it disused so soon after it was rebuilt.
So we had an issue, and maybe we didn't communicate this well. I thought we had earlier. I'm happy to share it again. Overlook and Hemlock, because those are less attractive accommodations, we're limited on how much we can charge for those accommodations. And with the price point we had, which we could not increase, we were losing money on every time they were used. So it was not feasible for us to keep those open. We are using the 2nd floor of Hemlock for families. So they went 2 rooms at a time. So it has that little sink and toilet in between. And people didn't really like doing that with strangers. So we're having families use those 2 rooms. We have talked about, and we're using some of it for staffing this year as well. Overlook is for some staffing. We have talked about a number of things. It is on the agenda. I will not say it is as high up as some of the buildings like the Inn and Bayview and Lloyd that are used now. We have talked about everything from, can we do this for, I'm sorry, I'm losing the word. Not a hospice, a hostel. Like people that, travel and just they bring in their own bedding and they just want to stay for a couple of days before they go to the next place. We don't know if we can do it for that. We don't know if we can get funding to renovate it and do some private bathrooms like people are asking for and make it a more usable space. We're not sure yet. But right now, the 2nd floor of Hemlock is for families in season, and we're using it for staff housing. Audience question? Anyone? We have one right over here. Marge Mingers. I gave your name away, sorry. You can say it again.
I say Marge Avengers, but.
That's what you know your name better than me, so I appreciate it. But I don't feel so bad.
There have been some people here over the years who are not here this year. I feel very sad about that, and I'm sure it's very private reasons. That just makes me sad.
I share your sorrow in some cases. I can't get into HR issues. I can tell you that when new leadership comes in, it's not unusual for there to be some turnover. Some of our folks left because they had job opportunities that were in their field. Some people left because winters up here are very hard and they just felt disconnected from family and friends and wanted to go back. Some people left because they were being held accountable and they weren't happy with being held accountable. So but I will say that that's one reason I introduced the new staff. I think as much as I miss some of those folks too, we have an amazing staff that has come in, and the caliber of folks is just extraordinary. You're welcome. From online.
Kevin asked, did I hear right that former EMPs get a room discounted rate?
Not to the best of my knowledge. The discounts that we offer currently are for teachers, for Y employees, and then what I mentioned earlier with vacations made possible. And then, of course, all of our respite folks fee.
Any in the house questions? All right.
Any hands in house? We have a hand. And please say your name.
Alan Crossman. There are two conferences that aren't here this year that are long-standing ones. And I know a little bit about the breakdown on the other side of those, communication-wise. But there were serious failings on the part of Silver Bay as well, in terms of the communication channels back and forth over a long period of time.
Which two conferences are you referring to?
The first one is the Leadership Conference, which in this week is in Montclair State College in New Jersey. And it goes back at least as far as their 100th anniversary. A conference started by the Y, run by Silver Bay, tried to spin it off. And in that process, for the 100th anniversary, there was no senior staff welcoming. The welcome to Silver Bay came from a recording from Mark Johnson from California, retired for a decade at the time. That downgrade in communications has continued. So they're now in New Jersey. And the other is the New York Yearly Meeting, Quaker Yearly Meeting. And they talked about coming back next year. We're not able to get enough flexibility in order to schedule that, and they're going to be in Southern New York again next year.
So I appreciate the question. I will push back a little bit. I can only be responsible for communications since I've been here. I will say that leadership school has shrunk significantly, and I think part they had to look at, with the size of their group, what was the appropriate place for them to be, to have the freedom that they want to have in the way they run their program, which we could not afford them here when there were other guests here. As far as the Quakers, we are continuing to work with them. We want them here. We never did not want them not to be here. I will just say that part of ours is a business. So when you're doing a contract and you have space, there are things you have to do in a timely fashion. And there was a time, I think, when we could twist and turn a little more to accommodate, but as business is growing, we do have some less flexibility. So we want every group that can possibly be here. And I will say that I believe we offered the Friends a lot of ways to make it work that we didn't offer other groups, and we're hopeful that they'll come back next year. Online.
Online, so this is a two-parter. Beth asked if we are accepting, we are accepting questions, that's the first part.
Yes, Beth, we are.
I read verbatim. What is wrong with your telephone system? Every extension goes to a message. The only time someone answers a phone is by 0. And then Laura added, to add to that telephone question, I think it would be great if someone actually answered the phone. That may not be feasible, but starting with a personal touch can make a world of difference.
I think it depends on nothing wrong with the phone system. I won't say that we're always great at responding to messages in a timely fashion, which is something we're still teaching folks to do, both emails and phone calls. I think if you're referring to the front desk, we did, when we're in off season, we don't always have full staffing. We're working on that to have more year-round staffing and more full day staffing. There were times this winter when we did not have everyone we needed. We did not have an overnight auditor to be there in the evening. So it's sometimes people, that's when they're calling at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. We do not have all the reservations we're now due. I think we'll be better with that, but Nothing wrong with the phone system. I think it's just us getting better at responding to message more timely and having all the staff we need to be able to answer the folks coming through reservations. In-house questions? We have two. I saw Paul's hand first.
I'd like to apologize to everyone online first. Some people are just having some sound technical
I'm
difficulties.
so sorry.
It's okay. If you could just repeat part of the question, it'd be helpful. They
I
said,
will repeat the question.
you're the best.
I try. I pay her to say it.
Peter, first, I'm impressed with your energy.
Thank you.
I've heard some idle rumors about the Boyd Center having some problems with completed construction, things like water leaks. Can you set that straight?
So there are problems with Boyd. I'll be totally upfront. There are problems with the design and problems with the construction. We have water leaks that have caved in ceilings and bedrooms. We do not have proper drainage on the valley, so if we have a really heavy rainstorm and the rain comes out, if you happen to be underneath it, you're probably not. The floor that was put into the dining room was a cork back floor, which you cannot have in a wet space, so that whole floor has to be replaced. All of the smoke detectors were put in, only had a 2-year lifespan, so all the smoke detectors have to be replaced. We added grab bars to all of the bathrooms because they weren't there and they weren't in the handicap bathrooms. We have added automatic door openers, which were not there originally, so that handicap folks can get through easily. There's issues in the kitchen. It is in the basement. It is wet. The vent system does not work properly to take the ventilation out of the dish room, so it's causing the freezers and the walk-ins to go down with the very expensive repairs. Being that a donor has come forward and given us a significant amount of money to make those repairs, so we're in the process of doing them. So it'll take us a little bit of time. We have talked to both the builder and the architect and all folks involved. We have a tornado warning. What is that warning? Flood warning? Okay. Not coming through on my phone, but it's coming through on someone. So at least someone. Flood warning. Good. We're okay with the flood warning. Tornado, we're gonna all go over to the kid and go over there. To pursue anything legally just would not be feasible or worth the expense. So we're thankful for the donors that step forward and we will get the. So, go ahead, Paul, you have a follow-up?
Yep. All right, hold on. I'm good.
Have we been back at the architect and the builder regarding their insurance coverage? They have to have warranty protection, completed operations.
We have, and it's a conversation we can probably have offline. There's just some complications with it. Surprise. It's over.
Guys, I'm totally getting my steps in. This is great.
Online folks.
Yes. David asked, is there a table of needs with dollar amounts attached available so people know what you need and how much it costs?
David's a great question. We do not have that now. Walt, you're online, so there's your charge. You have a question down here?
Oh, come in.
Getting exercise.
I kind of like it.
She's having a baby, in case you can't tell.
Hi, Peter. I know we haven't met yet. I'm a reservationist.
Yeah.
While I was hired, I believe that you were gone. It is my understanding that I am the only reservationist right now. We tried to hire two, but it's my current understanding that I'm the only one in the office right now.
Well, I appreciate that update. I'm still getting information, so thank you. Online?
We're going. Okay.
So that question was, if you didn't hear it, was probably at your reservations. We have one, so we're still having one. Anyone want to be reservationists? We have an opening.
Okay. Mark asked, what are the limitations for using tidy time volunteers? Like, are there projects not appropriate for us to work on? We want to make a difference.
I appreciate that. And Tidy Time has been great for us. And I think even this last time at Tidy Time, I think went better from everything I could see in other times because we really coordinated with staff more. Some of the limitations would be like you can't do plumbing, you can't do electrical unless you're licensed in the state of New York. We can't have you on high ladders and on roofs, because that would just be too dangerous. So we do try to work with areas that we have a great need. Annual labor to do pieces. We're very thankful for what the council does at Cutting Time. And actually, while on the topic of the council, I do want to thank them. We talked with all of our seasonal staff and all of our staff, full-time staff who live on campus, to ask them the things that they wanted and what they needed. And one of the needs that came up from international staff is that they often come here without the right clothes and without the right toiletries. So the council stepped up and gave, I think it was a $50 gift card to everyone to be able to go and go to Walmart and purchase those things. Then we also have donations of things that they can go and take from, which we really appreciate. And the other thing the folks wanted was they love to do dinners where we have 6 countries represented here right now, where the countries come together and cook the dishes from their home country. And the council stepped forward with a $1,000 donation to help them buy the food for that. We really appreciate the council and all they do for Silver Bay. Questions from the body?
Oh.
Yep. Paul.
Hi, I'm Paul Budd. Just wondering what the status of Hepron Hall is.
So the good news is Hepron is salvageable. We had an engineer come out and study Hepron, Sunnyside, Payne, the Coop, and Stonehouse. All of them are repairable and salvageable. It's not cheap. We're not sure what we do with Hepron yet. The intent is to restore it, and you go down the historic lines. Some of you may know we received $1 million from the federal government to do year-round access for Fisher for the gymnasium. We're working that as an historical preservation piece, so that along with adding heat and air conditioning in the front of the building, we're also maintaining historical integrity. We have not been able to draw down the $1 million yet. We still got some hoops to jump through. We'll probably need another $500,000, which we're looking at from historic tax credits, and grants that are available for historic preservation. What we learned from that will help inform us what we can do with Hepburn and Sunnyside, the Coop, Payne, and Stonehouse. The intent is to restore it, to have it viable again and have it used for our guests. Exactly what that'll look like yet, I'm not sure. We're not quite there yet. It'll probably be several years down the road, but we do not want to tear it down, and we do to save it. Online.
Yes. Ben asked, what's your assessment of the business model of Silver Bay post-COVID and the macro environment and market in which Silver Bay operates? And how does that change what you think Silver Bay needs or needs to do going forward?
I think I've answered some of it, but just to reiterate, and I'll say this, our occupancy rate is doing better than some other places up here. Somebody may have seen an article that just came out recently in the Adirondacks. It's 15 and 25% decline in occupancy. And ours is actually going up. So we're doing some things right. Again, we need to have buildings that meet the accommodations that people want, which will take us a while to get to and take some dollars to get there. We're attracting new business in. Again, the weddings, I think we have 9 this year and 11 for next year, or weddings and events.
We're at 10 next year.
10 weddings next year.
And like 10, including the gala this year.
And yeah, we had the Lake George Land Conservancy Gala this year, which is a huge conference. 280 coming here for dinner. We're excited. But I think those things that we're reaching out again to new people to experience here. I think that's the main thing. We want to improve what's here, but we also are attracting new people to come in and be here. And from the marketing study we've done, we know it's young families is the real sweet market for us to go to. Audience questions?
Yes.
Marge, Mingers.
Here for the eclipse.
Yeah.
Is it Expedia that brought us people?
Yep. Absolutely.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, we sold out,
Yeah.
the Friday and Saturday, and then again on the Sunday. People left on the Saturday, and more people came on the Sunday for the Monday, so. No, but this is, well, this is what's great, is the staff stepped up and stepped in and helped out. Yeah, we were very, the staff was just. Next online.
Yes. Peggy asked, is the development group considering a major fundraising campaign, like a capital campaign, but the fund would be used for operating expenses?
Great question. So I'll say that there is a process in development that hasn't been announced yet. That potentially maybe a matching campaign that we haven't made public yet. That's with a donor, and we need to talk to some other folks before we can go forward with that. That plan is in the works. The capital side will be decided if the board wants to move forward with some of these capital projects. Anyone in the audience?
We gotta do an online question first.
No, we have no one in the audience.
I'm sorry. We're
Raise
just,
your hand in the audience when you're ready.
so sorry, we're getting a lot of questions online, trying to keep up. Laura asked, can you update us on swimming on the IRC and if the committee formed last summer has made any progress?
Yeah, so first I want to, this is probably not been clear to folks, let me just be very, very clear. I did not make the decision to stop swimming at the IRC. The public health department made that decision. The regulations have changed on safe water rescue. And when we had our inspection 2 years ago, the gentleman from the health department said, based upon the changes in regulations, you cannot swim from here because you cannot do a safe water rescue according to regulations. I did not make that decision. The Department of Health made that decision. And if we'd like to keep operating, I have to keep the Department of Health happy. Otherwise, they can close down the kitchen and they can close down our housing for all of our staff, and they can close down camp. So we're not going to do that. So we're not pushing on the IRC. Sue Booth has been leading this. They came forward with a proposal. We are working with them. It would need to go, it'd have to be engineer approved drawings, would have to go before and approved by public health and approved by the park commission. There are some potential roadblocks with both places that I really don't want to get into the details of. We'll see how far the group wants to go. This would be up to the group to pay for the studies and put the engineering pieces together. What the proposal is to build I think it's a 27 by 35 foot dock at water level attached to the main dock. It's a small swim area to the north side of that. But again, there's a whole process we would have to go through to see if we get approved. And then also staffed, it would require 2 lifeguards to staff them as well.
I took one away from the audience, so we'll go back to the audience. Anyone in the audience have a question? Oh, yep, right here. And
I'm sorry, I didn't see the hand. Glad you're on top of it, Lindsay.
Hi, I'm Zion. So I've been going here my whole life. I'm also working here this summer. It's about the badges and wristbands.
I'm sorry, you think the wristbands?
The badges and the wristbands. I'm really happy that I'll be able to see people's names again. That was something I've been missing.
Yep.
As a staff member, I'm a little worried about knowing the dates on the wristbands because where I work, I can see like the badge. And I can see like if the years expire, if the dates expired, but for the wristband, I would have to be like, hey, can you turn your wrist in the exact specific way? And if I'm full, I can't, like if my station is full, I have 6 people, I can't be doing that to everyone who comes by.
Okay, tell us where you work.
Craft shop.
Okay, so to take a little burden off of you, don't worry. People are gonna cut the wristbands off after they're done. This is the first year we've done them, so every wristband's gonna be okay. There's no prior year. And going forward, people will cut them off and they're made so you can't take them off and put them back on again. So I don't burden yourself with that. If someone sneaks through somehow, we'll be okay. But I appreciate the thought, I really do.
Just to add on to that, someone in the chat, Natalie, just asked, the sound was going out a bit when he mentioned wristbands. Did he say we are going back to badges?
I did not say we're going back to badges. We will continue, we're changing the wristband to be something more comfortable for folks. because we've had an issue of safety with the badges, we'll not be going back to badges, but we will have name tags.
Yep.
Hi, Gail.
Is this my a clarification on that? Is the safety issue for children? And if it is, could the children not have badges?
The
And
safety
big-
issue is not a child wearing a badge. It's a pedophile coming onto campus that was hanging out with children. That's what that happened. We had a, as I said before, we had a family here who had a cottage, who registered everyone but one member of their family. That member of the family had been arrested and served jail time for molesting two 9-year-old boys. He used a tag from a prior year to gain access to campus and was hanging out around the children. So it's the children at risk from an adult.
We're gonna keep it internal for a few minutes.
Sure,
so
let's go
people
for
have
it.
Questions and comments.
Hi, Suzanne Locke. I just want to say thank you for all your hard work and creativity in trying to save our beloved place. That means so much to all of us. And please let us know how we can support you in that effort.
And I just want to be clear, it's just not me, it's an amazing staff. There are 65 year-round people, another 150 that come in the summer, and that is what makes this place work. They are incredible. And then all of you who volunteer, who support, who give your time, your resources, your brain power, all of you who help out, that's what makes Silver Bay click. So thank you for that, Susan. Hey, Kim.
Hi, I'm Kim Pacala, and I just wanted to echo Suzanne's comments because I just really appreciate your time tonight. You're answering all the questions from the high level to the low level to the nitpicky and all in between. We really respect what you're doing. We're so glad you're here. And I think everyone in the room agrees that we want to be part of the solution to make Silver Bay the best it can be. So thank you for our.
I'm sure there are more online questions.
There are. Okay. Are former M's still allowed to go out onto the earth?
I don't control the. It's been made very clear to me that this is the Employee Resource Center. So we have reinvigorated the M Council. We are listening to them for what they want down there. I'm not going to tell you whether you can or you can't. We have given the M Council $1,000 also to do what they would like to do with that building to make it better. I think Carol, you told me about, we're going to put a TV and a game station down there, is that right? Oh, Spangler. That's right. We're adding a cooling station, so we can legally do that. We can't run water down there. We can take water pump up from the lake so someone can pull a shower and cool off down there with lake water, which is nice. And we are Spangler, based upon the feedback we had from our folks, we added a kitchen in there. We've added free washers and dryers in there, and now we're adding a projection screen and TV for games and movies and that kind of stuff.
Okay. Gonna do another online question quick. I heard Silver Bay only has 2 years before it goes belly up and must shut down. Any truth to this?
If we did absolutely nothing and didn't take any proactive action and we're building a new business and we're building donors, yeah, we have about 2 years of funds. But that's not the case. We're on a trajectory to save this place, we're on a trajectory to grow and to be better and to serve more people. So we're not this, if we did nothing, yeah, but we're not doing nothing.
Any-
It's a double negative there.
Any internal questions? Oh, yeah.
Speak loudly, what caught on fire?
What caught
So
on-
the question was what caught on fire. So we had 3 youths on campus who broke into the stone house. They ransacked the items that were in there. They found a book of matches. One of the young men decided to put a cardboard box in one of our giant aquariums that's stored up there, like a 60-gallon aquarium, and throw lit matches into it. He got frustrated when the cardboard didn't catch on fire, so he lit the entire box of matches on fire and threw it into the cardboard box, which caused the aquarium to explode, which set the floor and walls on fire. At which point the boys thought they're 13, 15, and 16. At which point they thought the smart thing to do would be put furniture on top of the fire because that would smolder, which of course spread the fire. As the smoke got thicker, they thought the next thing to do would be break all the windows to let the smoke go out, which of course let more in, which increased the fire. They then decided to put slate on top of it because they thought that would smother it one said they left because they had to get to a meeting. One said the smoke got too thick. When the fire department alarm sirens showed up, they exited the building. One of the boys told his father. The father came forward. There were two brothers and a friend of theirs. As of today, we are pressing charges against them. And the families are banned from Silver Bay, and the group they were with is on a minimum of 2-year hiatus. It was a very difficult decision for us to make, but we had to do what was in the best interest of Silver Bay, and people have to know it is not okay to come in. The boys did not come in with the intention to bring down the building. They made a series of really, really bad, immature, frontal lobe, not connected yet decisions. But they could have died. That's what I told them. I said I was very thankful we weren't pulling 3 bodies out of stone house the next day, because they could have died. They didn't leave, they didn't get an adult when they got in trouble. The building could have gone up. I said there must have been a host of angels around you to protect you, because that building should have exploded into flame. And then the forest would have gone with it. We had both Ticonderoga and Hague here until 1 o'clock in the morning, putting the fire out in the area. So the family will also have to make restitution.
Just so
I'm not happy no.
just so everyone does know, and I'll get to more questions, this is being recorded and we will load it up to the website in the next couple of days so people can view it on the website as well. Peter, mostly just sentiments echoing what was said in the back, but great work with big crowd. The transparency of Silver Bay's financial status is appreciated. As we leave this evening, what are the specific areas where this group of Silver Bay neighbors can assist with building a vibrant future for Silver Bay?
I love that question. Please applaud. It's a great one. I mean, first, continue to do what you do. Stay engaged, stay involved, ask questions. I have an open door policy. I'm not there as much right now. Give me about 6 or 12 months to get back to full. But I have a door. I literally have a glass door so you can see if I'm there. Stop and see any of our staff, and volunteer, and we'll work to get our volunteer piece better, and working for folks that's not working for. We'll continue trying to improve that. To be crass, donations are very helpful. Financial support is really welcome, and really, if I can be candid, out of the restricted area and into general operations. That's the greatest need right now. I mean, we have $6 million in restricted funds that we are endeavoring to figure out how we can. To give you an example, you all know the backboard down by the tennis court. That's endowed for $110,000. That money can only be used to paint and repair that backboard. We'll all be long gone before we ever spend that money down on paint and repair, but we can't find the donors. So those are things we're trying to work with, and some donors have stepped forward and been wonderful about having us allow us to reallocate the funds to things that are needed here, which we really appreciate. Restricted funds towards something that helps in operations, like folks that are giving towards the evening of dance and giving towards the concert series and those things. That's wonderful. That helps us move forward. We're just trying to move away from some of the specialty things that may be important to a couple of people, but may not help all of Silver Bay. So if you can move in that direction, that would be great. But I mean, really stay engaged, ask questions. And, you know, when you hear rumors like we're closing in 2 years, and the ones I've heard so far today is that I'm dying and that's why we're having this meeting. But I'm quitting, that's why we're having this meeting. That Silver Bay is selling off land, that's why we're having this meeting. That Silver Bay is in bankruptcy and closing, that's why we're having this meeting. That we're closing in 2 years, that's why we're having this meeting. When you hear crap like that, come and ask. And then tell your friends and neighbors that's not true. Tell them what's really happening. Tell them we have a plan. Be a part of that plan. Tell them we have a way to turn Silver Bay around. I mean, the board recognized we were in trouble. When Steve left, they saw an opportunity to hire a different person in. I was hired specifically as a turnaround agent. That's what my career is in. Just to help you understand that, and not because I'm boastful about this, I don't really talk about it. I have an undergrad degree in hospitality, hotel, restaurant management. I have an undergrad degree in theology and did pastoral services in small groups for a number of years. I have a master's degree in health service administration, so I understand business. I have a master's in business. So I have done turnarounds for about the last 30 years. Everything from dental practices to law offices to childcare to hospitals to YMCAs. And I was brought here specifically to work with all of you to live out your vision for this place, which is to serve and take care of people. And I'm here to be your partner to make that happen. I'm here because you all love this place, and I have learned to love this place as Gina's learned to love this place. And all we want to do is hold hands with you and work with you and make this place the magnificent place it can be. That can come down.
It was powerful. Look at
I
that.
think that's an end now. Amazing. Thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you all for being on the line. And thank you for being a part of Silver Basement.